Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are breaking down this really powerful three-step protocol. It's designed to help you, break free from all that distraction, get your focus back, and find some real mental clarity.
So, do you ever feel like you're just stuck? Like you're scrolling your life away while all your important goals and projects are just sitting there waiting? Yeah, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely in the right place.
This quote really hits on a crucial point right from the get-go. A dopamine detox, it's not just about some temporary challenge. I mean, sure, anyone can put their phone down for a day, right? But what's the point if you don't use that time to make real, lasting changes in your life?
All right, so let's get into step one, prepare for change. Look, you can't skip this part. This is the foundation for everything else to succeed. This is where you're going to lay out the rules, create a structure, and get super clear on why you're even doing this.
And the very first thing you have to do, find your purpose. You need to honestly ask yourself, why do I really need this change? The source material uses this fantastic analogy about a doctor's patients. The ones who actually stick with a tough new regimen, they're the ones who can vividly picture the bad stuff that'll happen if they don't change. That mental image, that's the real motivation.
Okay, next up, the protocol gets really specific. There are 4 categories of behaviors that are total non-negotiables. You have to cut them out completely to give your brain a chance to reset. We're talking binge tech, so social media, TV, video games. Then there's what the source calls unhealthy sex, and to be clear, that's things like pornography and just compulsively swiping on dating apps. Also on the list are consumables like alcohol, recreational drugs, and junk food. And finally, thrill-seeking, so no gambling or crazy shopping sprees.
So why do we even need to do this? Well, it all comes down to this one key concept: desensitization. Think about it. When you're constantly flooding your brain with easy, high dopamine stuff, your brain literally goes into self-defense mode. It's a biological mechanism. Your brain cells actually reduce their function and even the number of receptors they have just to cope. It's why the more you scroll or watch or play, the less actual pleasure you get from it.
And I absolutely love this quote from Dr. K at Healthy Gamer, because it explains this whole thing perfectly. He says it's like turning the volume on your phone all the way up when it's plugged into a speaker. The sound gets distorted and overwhelming, right? Well, you don't try to fix the speaker itself, you just turn down the input volume. That's what we're doing here. We're lowering the input so our brain, the speaker, can rebalance itself.
And here's the thing. This process takes time. You can't just do it for a weekend. The protocol says you need a minimum of 7 full days. Why 7? Well, that's about how long researchers believe it takes for your brain's dopamine receptors to get back to a state of balance, what scientists call homeostasis.
All right, so you've done all the prep work. Now we're moving on to step 2, execute the plan. And this is where the rubber meets the road. It's all about embracing something we usually run away from, and that's boredom. I'm not gonna lie, when you start this detox, you are going to feel bored. You might feel anxious, maybe a little restless, and your first instinct is going to be to grab your phone to make that feeling go away. But you can't. You have to embrace the boredom. Just sitting with that discomfort is a huge non-negotiable part of the process. But hey, this doesn't mean you have to just sit in a dark room staring at the wall all day. No way. Instead, you're going to actively recondition your brain with 3 simple but really powerful daily practices. These are designed to create a more stable, natural release of dopamine and basically remind your brain what real, earned satisfaction feels like.
Now, this first practice, it might just be the most important one: self-reflection. In our crazy, constantly on world, we almost never just think about ourselves. But just 10 minutes a day, whether it's meditation or journaling, gives you a chance to actually become aware of your own thoughts. And that awareness, that's the starting point for any real positive change.
And that brings us to our final step, step 3, restore intentionally. Honestly, this might be the most critical part of the whole protocol. This isn't just about being done with the detox. It's about how you carefully and consciously reintroduce things back into your life. Getting this right is the key to making it all stick for the long term.
You see, the goal here isn't just to be resilient. It's not about just bouncing back to how you were before. The goal is to become anti-fragile. What's the difference? Well, something that's resilient gets hit and returns to its original state, but something that's anti-fragile gets hit and actually becomes stronger. Think about the mythical Hydra. You cut off one head and 2 more grow in its place. That's what we're aiming for. You're using this detox as a shock to the system to come back more powerful than before.
So before you even think about reinstalling that social media app or bringing an old habit back, you have to run it through this filter.
You have to ask yourself these questions. Seriously, what do I actually value? What kind of person am I trying to become? And then, does this activity or this app actually align with those values? Does it help me move toward that person? If the answer isn't a clear, resounding yes, then it doesn't get to come back into your life. Simple as that.
So after you've gone through all of this, the prep, the execution, the careful restoration, what's the big takeaway? What's the ultimate goal here? What does it really mean to take control?
It's this, right here. It's about getting to a place where you can say, I get exactly the value I want out of these apps, and I get to leave the rest behind. This whole protocol is about giving you the power to choose, to use technology and other things intentionally for their actual benefits, while just discarding all the noise and the parts that make you distracted and unhappy. You are in the driver's seat.
Look, this protocol is an incredibly powerful tool. It's a hard reset, but it's not the finish line. In fact, the real work, it starts right now. You've got a clean slate, a clearer mind. So the real question is, what are you going to choose to build with it?